Good evening, everyone. Today, we've had the good fortune to have good weather. And so we've continued our search and rescue operations unimpaired by the weather. And we've continued in the areas of the collapse which we can access. We're using all the technology that we've used that is available to search in the area of concern. And over the course of today's search, we did recover 2 additional victims. We now have 22 confirmed deaths, 188 people accounted for, and 126 unaccounted for. Our detectives are continually editing this list as we verify every single report that we have received regarding a potentially missing person. And as a result, these numbers will continue to change, as we've told you so often. Our engineers and the fire rescue team are conducting ongoing testing and evaluation of the site as we work to expand the search area as soon as it is deemed safe to do so by the engineers. This afternoon, I signed an emergency order authorizing the demolition of the building in the interest of public health and safety, as soon as the engineers sign off on the next steps to begin the demolition process. So it's important to note that we're still evaluating all possible impacts and determining the best timeline to actually begin the demolition. Signing the order now is important so that it can help us move quickly as soon as we decided the best methodology to demolish and the specific start date. Our top priority remains search and rescue. I want to be very clear about that, and we will take no action that will jeopardize our ability to continue the search and rescue mission. I want to acknowledge that this was not a decision we made lightly, and I know especially how difficult this is for the families who escaped the building and who have lost their homes and their belongings. The building poses a threat to public health and safety, and bringing it down as quickly as possible is critical to protect our community. So we will continue to host the twice daily briefings with the families, moving today and tomorrow's afternoon briefing a little earlier in the day in observance of the Sabbath. And as the Sabbath or Shabbat begins, we join the families who are grieving and waiting in prayer and reflection. And we know that your prayers and wishes and hopes are with us from all around the world in this hour of tragedy. And we thank you. We thank everyone who is with us in spirit. We're also continuing to monitor what is now Hurricane Elsa, and we are urging our community to take action to prepare now. Please don't delay. Head to our website, miamidade.gov/hurricane, to learn more what you can do before, during, and after a storm, and sign up for our emergency alerts and download our Ready MDC app. I'm incredibly proud of the work that our team has done here on the ground. So many of our county departments are at the forefront contributing. Of course, our Miami-Dade Fire, the heroes and sheroes on the mound, our Miami-Dade Police Department, keeping us safe and keeping everything moving, our Office of Emergency Management, monitoring all of these operations, our Department of Transportation and Public Works, our Department of Water and Sewer, and many others. They're all here on site working together, Miami-Dade County, to get this job done. We're not just running an emergency response, as you can see, but we're also preparing our whole community for a possible storm at the same time. I also want to thank our chairman of the commission, Pepe Diaz, for his ongoing collaboration on storm preparation, and particularly his work with the South Florida Water Management District to prepare. We are truly experiencing an unprecedented disaster, and the extraordinary men and women of Miami-Dade and our federal and state partners continue their mission and the search and rescue no matter what is thrown our way.
And now Division Director of Emergency Management, Deputy Incident Commander, Charles Surrell.
Good afternoon, everyone. Based on the latest advisory, Hurricane Elsa continues to strengthen. the Miami-Dade County Office of Emergency Management will monitor the storm as it quickly moves towards South Florida and provide updates on any protective actions as conditions warrant. The latest advisory, although favorable, informs us that the storm is picking up speed through the Caribbean Sea and heading west-northwest. There remains uncertainty in the future forecast intensity and track. This situation continues to demand our close attention as we enter this holiday weekend, and we are continuing to work with our partners, the Florida Division of Emergency Management, to assure that all proper contingencies are implemented. Please continue to monitor the progress of this storm and complete your preparedness plans by Sunday evening. If you'd like more information on hurricane preparedness, please visit miamidade.gov/hurricane or download the Ready MDC app. The ongoing search and rescue mission, as well as providing assistance for the survivors and their families, remains our highest priority. Our Family Assistance Center service hours are from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m., 7 days a week. The 26 organizations on site continue to provide mental health, grief counseling, financial assistance, lodging, travel, and many other services to those in need. Since this morning's briefing, an additional 17 families were able to receive services. That brings our total number of 80 families who have been assisted at the Family Assistance Center. Thank you.
From the Florida Division of Emergency Management, Director Kevin Guthrie.
Good evening. As Charles has already mentioned, the division is continuing to monitor Hurricane Elsa in conjunction with Miami-Dade Emergency Management. Our state meteorologists reported that the impacts to South Florida from Elsa remain possible and could occur as early as overnight Sunday through Monday. At the 5:15 or the 5 o'clock positioning, it was a slight improvement for the area of Miami. Floridians in the area should be on alert for tropical storm or hurricane watches that may be issued by the National Hurricane Center this weekend. While there remains some uncertainty in the track and intensity forecast, Floridians are encouraged to check and restock their emergency kits, review their hurricane plans heading into this holiday weekend, and prepare for the possibility of heavy rain, strong winds, tornadoes, and storm surge impacts. Also, as of today, all 5 Type 1 USAR task forces from Virginia, Ohio, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Indiana are on the ground. I'm thankful for our federal partners who are assisting with the relief of some of our Florida USAR teams who can turn their focus now to assisting with potential hurricane response. I also want to provide a brief update on recent state response efforts. First, the division continues to provide PPE, spare boots, and other clothing items to USAR responders to ensure that added protection and safety while working on site. The division has purchased and distributed nearly 450 pairs of boots to USAR responders, 27,000 pairs of socks, 360 pairs of heavy-duty demolition gloves, and 400 half-face respirators. Now please, do not donate those items. I'm asking the public, do not donate socks and underwear and boots. These are specialized pieces of equipment that our first responders need. So please do not come to the site and donate those items. We have plenty. The division has also coordinated with Royal Caribbean Group to dock the Royal Caribbean International's Explorer the Seas at the Port of Miami to provide free housing to support the tireless efforts of our search and rescue teams. I want to thank Royal Caribbean for prioritizing the safety and well-being of our first responders. This resource will ensure our search and rescue teams have a quiet place to rest and recover from their mental and physical well-being, and as they work very long hours in the heat. I'm also pleased to announce that in coordination with Volunteer Florida, Amazon has donated 500 laundry bags, 2,000 laundry pods, and 2,000 dryer sheets specifically for USAR responders. The support we have seen from our excuse me, the support that we have seen for our first responders has been absolutely incredible. And I want to thank all the private sector vendors and partners that are stepping up to support our response efforts. Last, I will mention that we received official notification in writing from the White House today via FEMA that the President did approve for 30 days, June 24th to July 24th, 100% reimbursement for this event. Thank you.
And now Surfside Mayor Charles Burkett.
That last news we heard is pretty amazing, spectacular. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for funding this disaster and taking it off the shoulders of residents here and the state of Florida. We very much appreciate that. A couple things I'd like to point out. I had a more comprehensive talk this morning, but I've spent some time over at the site, and I just want to let everybody know that the accumulated debris from all the operations over the last 8 or 9 days is almost completely gone. And that is another testament to the organizational skills of the county, the mayor's leadership. The work site is clean, it's organized, and it's running very smoothly. Let's hope we don't get that hurricane and that we can keep moving forward 24 hours a day. I also want to note that I met with the families of the building that collapsed today with Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and we went through the issues that they were experiencing, which are notably different than the families who are searching for their loved ones. I will say that there were questions about insurance, there were questions about logistics, there were questions about alternative housing, and there were questions about transportation. I think it's important to repeat, I think I said it this morning, but Chief Brian Rafke has instituted a shuttle, a tram that's going to go around the whole area. It's going to go from the Seaview all the way down south to the community center and back, and it's going to operate every 20 minutes for families that need to hop on and get to different meetings or briefings. In my time over at the Family Center briefing, I was able to sit down with the Support Surfside folks, and I was happy to hear that the accumulated donations have gone from $2 million to about $3 million. We remain focused on pulling everybody out of the rubble. It's our only objective, and we will stay focused on that while we support the families. Thank you.
Miami-Dade Fire Rescue Chief Alan Comiskey.
Good evening. Our search operations are still ongoing. We're still primarily focusing on the grids D3 and part of grid B2, as well as grid D3 and part of grid D2. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to expand our search zones due to the high concerns with the building structure. As mentioned earlier, federal task force are on site. Currently, Virginia task force and Ohio will be rotated through today, and the remaining 3, Pennsylvania, Indiana, and New Jersey, will be rotated through tomorrow as we rotate the Florida task force teams out. There was an engineering task group meeting today, again focusing on the building itself and giving us any guidance in regards with the storm coming in the near future. Thank you.
Business Administration Public Affairs Specialist Roberto Baltonado.
Before anything else, Charles spoke about how there are 26 agencies assisting individuals at the Family Assistance Center. This is a whole community approach, a whole of government approach. What you see behind us is a prime example of that. The SBA is there to provide assistance. However, we encourage people to visit sba.gov/disaster. Businesses can actually find information, valuable information on how to prepare, on how to apply, on how to submit that application, the documentation that is required for you to be able to prepare and submit that application, whether you do it online, and again at sba.gov/disaster, or whether you visit us at the Family Assistance Center. By the same token, our teams are providing assistance to the families and friends and individuals who are in need. Our neighbors, our homeowners and renters
are encouraged to come over to the Family Assistance Center and speak to one of our agents one-on-one for support. Once again, I encourage our business community to please prepare by visiting sba.gov/prepare and be ready.
The demolition of the building is going to proceed based on the recommendations of the engineers. As we stated yesterday and as I stated today, that is going to take time. It's going to take most likely weeks. It is not possible, either from an engineering or any other perspective, to move more rapidly than that.
Madam Mayor.
Mayor, address a little bit. We're hearing about another condominium building, rescue towers now being evacuated. Is that part of the audit that you would order?
The city of North Miami Beach has taken the steps that we recommended to review to make sure that the recertification process was being done on a timely basis. And as I understand it, as a result of that audit, they found a building that had not been recertified, and when the information came in, they took some steps.
For Deputy Incident Commander Sorrell, so can you kind of walk us through what the plans are as you try to secure the area as it is? It looks to us that there's still items on the terraces and things like that which can be considered flying objects and missiles during the storm. What are you guys doing in detail with this?
First and foremost, I want to stress that our objectives remain the same: search, rescue, and assistance of the survivors, and looking for survivors, as I should say. We have formed a comprehensive plan with the division, with FEMA, our local partners, to discuss safety. We've identified a safety zone, and we are going to evacuate as necessary certain aspects of our materials and resources that we provide here, and we'll provide a safety zone with respect to flying debris and other items. So we continue to look at and assess. We've also embedded, as you saw this morning if you were here, the National Weather Service to provide up-to-the-minute forecast at this location. So we'll continue to monitor that, and we will adjust as necessary that safety zone with respect to the building. You're welcome.
Question here from Madam Mayor.
Hi, Mayor. I'm actually not sure if it's better for you or for fire. I can answer in English and Spanish. How soon could we see possibly efforts stop because of the potential effects?
We're monitoring this storm very closely. Depending on the strength of the wind and the path, we'll make that determination. And I don't know if Charles wants anything more about that. That's the answer.
Question right here.
Will you wait to rescue or recover every individual before you demolish that building?
We're very concerned to not compromise our search, but we also know that the building itself poses certain risks. So we have to balance those things, and of course we want to continue our search and rescue efforts now in the areas where it's safe to do so.
And is there a weather metric that you guys are using to determine to pull those rescue crews ultimately? And is that decision to pull those crews, is that your decision ultimately?
Yes, ultimately these are my decisions, but I do it in conjunction with the experts in my Department of Fire Rescue, and they are in constant communication with their engineers as well as engineers from the federal and state government. So I think that our Chief Kaminsky should answer the question.
Yeah, so it'll be a collaborative decision. You know, obviously the safety of our personnel is paramount. So we want to be working out there as long as we can. If winds increase, depending on the calculations and what the engineers advise us, we'll make that decision. We do have several safety officers that are out there monitoring the work site constantly. And, you know, we try to go as long as we can, but you've seen, unfortunately, with different other inclement weather and lightning that comes through, we've had periods that we've had to stop.
But there's not like a miles per hour of wind gusts that you guys are using as a benchmark, right?
Nothing's been specific yet. The engineers are definitely doing calculations, and then, you know, they'll go into details, and then they'll make a decision on what direction we should go with that.
Question.
Wondering about the process of demoing the building and whether you think that it's going to be fine to push it off until after the hurricane, and also whether the search and rescue effort completely halts while the building is being demoed.
So again, we cannot move swiftly to demolish this building. The building needs to be carefully evaluated. We have many engineers working together to look at all of the circumstances, make the determination on the timeline. It cannot be before this storm. However, it is storm season. We know the building is unstable. We are going to move forward with demolition. We just have to do it in the safest possible fashion. As to where the demolition would fall, that is part of the calculus. There are many, many factors. There are many choices to be made, and all of that is being reviewed by the engineers.
And final question.
Obviously, there's been fire chief. We're getting some reports that some firefighters out of state who are not vaccinated came down with COVID. Has been going on now.
Yes, one of the teams that in Florida but came outside of Miami-Dade, they did have a few COVID individuals. So we do have our medical procedures in place. Unfortunately, this is another challenge, but something that we've been dealing with for over the past year in regards to the medical field and our first responders, responding and managing throughout COVID. So we remain within our protocols in that circumstance where we isolate. We go through a process, and that task force also has now been demobilized.
Is there a number of cases you know of?
6.